what's your sense in talking to everybody about why it happened and how it went down? David?
Well, here's a few things. One is that you can rightly castigate Nico Harrison for how the trade happened and what he got in return. I think if you're trading one of the 5 best players in the league, you can ask for anything of any team. Like, you could call Oklahoma City and say, I want SGA for Luka Doncic. And they could say no, Rich. They could say, no, that's preposterous. We're not doing it. But you're not wrong for asking, right? Like, you're not wrong for calling the Bucks up and saying, I want Giannis. You're not wrong, right? Because that's how good Luka Doncic is. He's on that level with those guys. So the fact that they didn't do that and really kind of cut themselves off is kind of odd. And then, okay, if you're going to make the trade with the Lakers just because you want to make the trade with the Lakers, you got to get everything from the Lakers, right? Like, you got to get both picks. You got to get at least a couple of young players along with Christie, who's played well for Dallas since he's been there. But you got to get more, right? And so those, you can take that, put it to the side. You can criticize Nico Harrison for that. But what I'm not going to do is absolve Mavs ownership of their responsibility in this, which people seem to want to just blithely ignore. General managers recommend at that level. They do not decide to trade Luka Doncic. They recommend to ownership that we trade Luka Doncic. And the owner decides if they're going to do it or not. And that's what I want to see more of in terms of how this trade is being evaluated. I want to see more people holding ownership accountable, because owners decide to trade a guy like Luka Doncic, not Nico Harrison. That's an owner decision. So they have to take the responsibility for this as well, and not just leave him out there to take all the, proverbial bullets on this one.
Well, it sounds like Mavericks fans are attempting to do that with signs and with language, and they're getting the gate.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of that, but I've seen mostly Nico Harrison's the dumbest man who ever lived, and that's not true. But I've seen more of that than, wait a minute, why did they okay this? Why did they say no? Why did they say we'd rather trade him than pay him $345 million? Why? I think that's a fair question to ask of the people who actually made the decision.
Well, the general sense is that they didn't want to pay him because he doesn't have the body commitment, or Michael Finley had to take a beer out of his hand, or, you know, I mean, like,
whatever the reason was, I would like to hear them articulate that reason on the record. I don't think that's too much to ask of the people who own the basketball team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Who actually own the team, to say, okay, why did you say this was a good thing to do? And give me specifics. Don't just talk about, we're culture and things like that. No, there's a specific reason you didn't do this. And again, I've said this and I've said this for 30 years, Rich. Owners are allowed to do whatever they want. It's their team. They bought it. Okay. So the Dumonts and the Adelsons, they have every right to do whatever it is they think is best for their team. But they have to explain that to the people that are paying the ticket prices. So that everybody has information to decide whether they're going to keep paying those ticket prices.
DA, you're the man. The Basketball 100. Everybody check it out. Go get the book where it is currently being sold, which is everywhere. Thanks for the time. I love it. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.